Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Devis Scottus. It is day 48, I believe, now. Our challenge for today is to write a little movie script for you. So we did something kind of similar when we made a soundtrack for a movie or whatever, tried to tell a story with our soundtracks back in whatever day that was. I'm not going to know off the top of my head. But today I decided instead of a romance movie, let's instead give you a little superhero movie, right? Get the classics in there. So, the way that I saw my movie starting off is that we get introduced to two best friends. We have a young man named Rex, a very mild-mannered man, and then we have his best friend Jason, who's more of a typical, hothead, kind of supportive, but brash kind of guy. While they're going about their daily school lives up in space, we see a alien man fighting off what seems to be a giant calamity sort of creature, and he seems to be losing, and he quickly flees wounded mortally, and he ends up landing on Earth. That is where he ends up meeting Rex and Jason. So the mysterious alien savior claims that he had powers and that he was responsible for protecting the Earth in times of need. However, when he was dying, he had to spread out his power so that what was trying to claim his power and take over the world, the Calamity, could not seize it, or at least would not be able to seize it easily. He gives what remains of his powers to Rex, sensing a good heart within him, and claiming that he needs to collect all the pieces of his power to fight off the calamity, and that he must hurry because there's no telling what could happen if a random person were to stumble across that power. There's no way of telling how it would interact with them. So Rex is transformed by this power, and Jason sees his friend become a superhero of sorts and wants to support him in every way he can. He wants to be part of the team, he wants to help out. Rex, understanding the gravity of the situation, thinks that it is probably best if Jason instead sticks to the sidelines. He does not want his friend getting hurt, and he can feel that he is Rex can feel that he is a lot stronger and more durable than Jason probably is, being just a normal person. Jason then says, "Well, what if I use one of the sources of power? I could help you." But again, Rex cautions him, saying, "Again, there's no telling what would happen if you were to do that. We just got told that. I don't think we should gamble on that. I don't want anything bad to happen to you." So, they begin trying to track down the sources of power. Meanwhile, the calamity has arrived on Earth and is doing something similar. They come across each other, they cross paths early on. Rex realizes early on that he is no match for the calamity. The calamity is far too strong at him at his current power. He needs the other sources of power before he can level up and be strong enough to fight him. However, the clock ticks down as both sides collect the power sources. I'll call them power crystals from now on. I hadn't really fully thought out the nitty gritty of the details here. So while Rex has been getting stronger, so has the Calamity. The time comes when there is only one power source left, and it is the biggest power source yet. The two clash once again. Rex is holding his own against the Calamity, but he can tell that he is still weaker than it. The Calamity is getting the upper hand and is starting to push Rex into a corner. It's not looking good. However, Jason, despite Rex's wishes, has shown up and collected the last power source to try to help Rex. He wants to give it to Rex, however, given the situation Rex is currently in, he knows he will not be able to bring it to Rex and thinks that maybe, just maybe, this power will work for him and he will be able to help save his friend from dying. So, he begins trying to harness the power. Rex notices out of the corner of his eye as he is fighting the calamity. He tries to stop Jason, but it's too late. It would seem that he failed to harness the power. A giant explosion of energy happens, and laying on the ground afterwards is only the energy source power crystal. I keep forgetting what I called these things. But the Calamity sees this happen and looks towards Rex and mocks him, saying, "This is why the power source should be in my hands. Someone who could properly wield this power, not in the source of primitive humans like yourself." This mocking, in conjunction with the pain felt by losing his best friend, Rex has just enough power to get the Calamity off of him and goes and has just enough time to seize the final power source. This power source powers up Rex enough that he is able to defeat the Calamity, siphoning the stolen power from within it back into himself. The Calamity curses him, realizing that it can no longer win this situation, and flees the earth, claiming that it will be back one day to seize what it is rightfully its. Rex then has to go on with his life, knowing that this wasn't a responsibility that he asked for, but one that he has been burdened to carry. And now the load is even heavier as he also has to grapple with the death of his best friend. And that is the end of the first in the Rex trilogy. I didn't think of what kind of superhero name he would have. But that's my story. That's my little movie pitch for you. We're not casting it. We're not filming it. It's not going to happen. And you'll never probably hear the second editions of the trilogy unless, for whatever reason, I make a challenge that just says finish the trilogy and it doesn't really clarify anything. Maybe I can collab with Scott on it. Who knows? But that's all I got for you today. Bye bye!